Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm still at the Lowe's Stars ambulance deal here, and I'm with my good buddy Jay, Mr. Famous Jay Thomas Auto.
Hi Gary, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being on the channel, Jay.
Yeah.
I've wanted to do something with you for a long time. I got to tell you, I watch all your hot rods work that you do, and I really like it, and it's incredible, and I never miss an episode.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm the same with you. I'm always watching Gary the Gear here too, and all the stuff you do, and it's great to see all the videos you shoot with all the car shows we do, the walk-arounds. You got so much knowledge, Gary. I love that. I appreciate it too.
Well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate watching you, and I appreciate hearing that.
Thanks.
So today, I want to take some time and share with everybody your pretty 69 Buick Electra. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. So Jay, tell me about this car. How long have you had this?
So I bought this in 2017. I turned 30 years old in 2017. My wife turned 30. We went to Nashville for her birthday party, and I bought this for my birthday. This
was your present to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, so this is a car that, as far as I can tell, I've done the research with GM. Officially, they said it was not sold new in Canada. So at some point in its life, it must have come out of the States. But when, I don't know. I bought this car in 2017 from Brad Smith, Brad's Auto Sales, which used to be in Riversdale in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
And he got it from Okotoks Auction, from a family in Alberta, I think in Red Deer, that had it for a really long time. So it's, I don't know where it's from in the States, but it's got a block heater in it, an old block heater. So it must have been in one of the cold states or something like that. Maybe it was brought over in the 70s, hard to say, you know. But it, you know, it's from, been in Alberta a long time, and then came to Saskatchewan. So I know it's had a repaint in its life. I think the pictures that came with it, somewhere in 2001, it had a little bit of, you know, TLC done to it. But as far as I can tell, we're at 44,000 miles. I don't think it's 144. Just some of the stuff we've replaced, like when we pulled the brakes apart when I got it, you know, there was no marks on the springs. When you usually take your, you know, your brake shoes apart, you pull the springs apart, you see little marks from your tools. There's evidence. It looked like it was the original brakes that were in it when I got it. Even just this last week, I put a new U-joint, and the original U-joint was still in the front of it.
Oh, wow.
The one with the plastic molded stuff that holds it together. They're not serviceable. They were still in it. So I'm pretty sure it's not 144. I can't prove it 100%, but there's been lots of evidence that it's not that, you know, hasn't rolled over. So
well, I would agree with you 100%, because I've actually been under this car a number of times. You've brought it to our shop for alignments. Yeah. And it's as pretty underneath as it is on top.
well, it's a little bit greasy underneath. You know, it's a pretty original car in terms of transmission. Engine's never been out of it, that sort of stuff. You can really tell. And
what does this have for a drivetrain? This is a 430.
It's a 430. So that was Buick's engine after the nailhead. So 67 to 69 was a 430, and everybody remembers the Buick 455. That came the next year later in 1970. But it's essentially the same engine, give or take a little bit. You know, bore and stroke and stuff like that. 44,000 miles ish. TH400 heavy duty 3-speed automatic transmission, and a 4-barrel Rochester Quadrajet. So, you know, supposed to have 360 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque. I mean, in 53 years, how many ponies have left this, you know, the stable? We don't know. Probably a few less than that now.
Well, it runs like a brand new car. It runs and drives like a brand new car. It's probably one of the nicest cars I've ever driven.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I would say that easily. I would say that probably next to what's his name's Cadillac? What's his name now? Anyway,
Doug's Cadillac.
Pardon me. Yes, Doug's Cadillac. This is right up there, number one, as far as you know, the nice driving experience you get with these full frame GM cars.
Yeah, it's
an amazing shape.
It is. You know, that's the other thing, is that it's in pretty good shape, and it's the only one around. You know, I've been to tons of car shows around the city, around the province, and there's, I think, There's a guy named Rick Hagel's got a 67 Electra convertible. There was one kid I ran into at Majestics this year who was in the parking lot, and he had just resurrected a 69 Electra four-door.
Oh, wow.
But it was a barn find, and he was, asking me tons of questions. It wasn't in the shape that this one's in. So
yeah,
they're hard to find, and that is the tricky part, is it's hard to get parts for the thing sometimes,
I think Buicks in general, the older Buicks in general, I have restored one, and they are a little tricky. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But they are a little trickier.
Sometimes they are, yeah. So this one's got some interesting features. It's kind of a weird car because it's an Electra, but we don't have power windows or power locks, but we do have a power seat. You can see the controls right down there, right? So we got a power seat. We've got air conditioning. On the speedometer, there is what's called speed alert. So there's a second little needle you'll see in the speedometer there, and a little dial, so you can set the speed, and if your speedometer crosses that speed or that little dial, it sounds an alarm.
It gives you a warning.
Gives you a warning.
You're going too fast.
Yep. We've got a power antenna. We've got a light hanging from the mirror, so that rear view mirror's actually got a light in it, a map light in it, which is kind of neat.
Cool.
In my glove box, there is a power trunk release, but it's vacuum operated. Tilt steering wheel. I said air conditioning. We've got these are the ones that everybody gets, which are crazy. This was a dealership accessory, and it's pretty rare. And we got lighters mounted on the side of the seat there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that before. That's very cool.
Yeah, they're really, nobody's got them. It came with the car. Apparently they're super rare. It's got cornering lamps in the front that are attached to the signal lights, so you get that. And there's some accessories that the car came with that I know are period accessories, because I managed to sort of collect all the paraphernalia that goes with the car. So I've got the owner's manual, I've got the accessory guide, I've got some of the brochures, and that's even the trailer towing guide for the car, because this guy pulls 5,000 pounds if you want it to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And this here is the Buick approved accessories. So
there you go.
Came with the owner's manual, and there's some of the stuff that's in this that I've got. For example, let's see, the license plate frame, I've got that. I've got the remote control mirror, that's in the car. Let's see, what else? Let's see if I can get it open. There's a vanity mirror that goes on the visor, that I've still got for the car. I've got the cornering lamps and the trailer wiring harness, and it's got, I'd love to get some more of this stuff. Yeah, a few things anyways. So
it's a highly optioned car with, aside from those power windows, it's got everything.
Yeah, there's quite a few things. The things that it doesn't have that you could get back in those days is if you got the limited trim, you could get like fully automatic climate control, set the temperature, and it would do its thing. I'm actually glad I don't have that, because it's crazy complicated, all vacuum controlled, and they tend not to work after about 50 years, which is, I'm okay with that. You could get this with bucket seats and a console and leather and a few other things like that, a few little trim options, stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty well optioned up. It's kind of a greasy monster underneath here, it's never come apart. So
oh, it looks good, Jay.
Well, it's been cleaned up a little bit, but it could use some more. I like the fact that there's still, the marks, building marks on the firewall. So it's a pretty original car.
Yeah. No, this is and I would agree. It's got to be a low mile car, low mile original car.
You got to ignore the pool noodles. Oh. I'm just using them to protect the line from the AC. That's my only next project next year, is I got to get AC is working, but I had a little bit of issue with it this summer. I think I need a new bearing for this clutch and make sure it's charged up properly. But that's next summer's job.
Regular
that's pretty small stuff. It's had a lot. I mean, we've done brakes and master cylinder and suspension stuff. You've done lots of suspension stuff with this car, so it's kind of ready for the road, and it drives pretty nice. And
it does.
When I took it to the Majestics car show this spring, I mean, maybe the wind was in my favor, but I got 25 miles to the gallon.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was
440 big block.
Yeah, with a big block and 4,700 pounds of car. I thought that was not too bad.
And you won an award there, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I did pretty good in the show. It wasn't a big award; it was just in my class. You know, got second place in the class, and that was pretty cool. And it was in Dragons a couple years ago, back in 2019, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Wow, very cool. It is the prettiest car, Jay. I like this. I always, every time I walk by this car, I comment on it is the prettiest Buick.
Thanks. Well, and it's kind of a tribute to some family stuff. You know, my grandparents had Buicks, so that hat that rides in the back, that was my grandfather's hat. He passed away back in 2013, and he had a ton of Buicks as well. He had a 63 LeSabre, and they had a 72 Skylark, and more than just that, but there was sort of Buicks in my family. And then on his car, and this is my latest accessory, is right up here. His car always had this. He was a member of CAA.
Oh, yeah.
And I never got to get it off of his car because the last Buick he owned got smashed up by somebody else, and it went to the junkyard before I could get it off. But this was in an auction, and I actually found 60s vintage CAA grill badge, the same one that would have been on his car that I remember as a kid driving around. So it's kind of a bit of a family tribute too.
Yeah, that's very cool. You come from a long line of Buick fans, and well, it's easy to see why I like Buicks. I've had a couple of them, and I think they're the nicest, prettiest cars.
Yeah.
I very much appreciate you taking the time. It was really cool to finally get a chance to walk around with, you know, you do a lot of cars. You do a lot of cars on your channel yourself, really nice cars. And it was nice to finally get a chance to look at yours, because I think it is the prettiest Buick.
Well, thanks, Gary.
And that's great. Well, thanks, Jay. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thanks for watching, guys.